Good morning, everyone. I don't like videos, but here's one for you on this NAR topic. I've been getting a lot of questions and concerns and non-fact-based information from buyers, sellers, agents, everybody. So I wanted to just make sure that all of you are on the same page with the information that I have and can share with you right now. So NAR settlement doesn't admit any wrongdoing. It just admits that some commission structures were implied to be strict, and they've always been negotiable. So a couple key facts: commissions have always been negotiable. Sellers always can decide to not pay a buyer's agent. Buyer's agents could always pay their agent directly if they needed to in some cases. So really, if you've been disclosing your commissions properly and using the forms that we use and explaining the forms, then you're fine. Our listing agreement, for example, from WMLAR says Real Estate West, 6%. We are choosing to share with the buyer's agent, 3%. That's simple. We've disclosed it to the seller, and then now what will change is we're supposed to be disclosing to the buyer that we're getting paid. Buyers always known we've gotten paid, but they never know how much. That's where things might change a little bit. We have been using the short form of buyer agency, and now we really probably need to consider using the long form because it discloses the commission rate and it ties you and the buyer together with a commission fee. You will then have to be able to comfortably explain that form to your buyer and say, this is how I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid this amount of money. If the seller's not offering it in their listing, then you'll have to pay that to me directly, and are you okay with that? Now, one, if you have a listing that doesn't want to pay a buyer's agent commission, that's fine. You can explain what will happen differently for their listing if they don't. It's up to them if they want to pay it, and it's up to you if you want to take that listing or not. There's already one agent for the last couple of weeks that I have gotten screenshots from many of you that she is taking listings with 0% buyer's commission because, in my opinion, she's probably just not explaining the details to them of what they're going to be missing out on and using that as her closing tool to get the listing. Oh, I'll do it for 3%. Buyers can figure it out. That's what's going to happen soon. I'm ahead of the curve. I don't think that's accurate. I think that if your buyers are coming from many different walks of life and have financing, you probably need to be having a conversation with the sellers that says, if you don't offer buyer agent commission, many buyers will not come to see your house. You will save 3%, but then you will not get a bidding war. You will likely not get an overbid. You will likely not have 10 offers, right? You might then even be asked by a buyer to add to the sale price of your house so that you then can pay their agent the fee, which is fine, but that gets into gray waters where we probably will need lending reform, because right now, buyers that are getting FHA financing can only get 6% in fees. So if you take 3% in concessions to be paid on the contract and 3% for the buyer's fees, they might have needed all 6, so you might not be getting paid, right? Conventional, many times 3% is the maximum. So if you're asking for them to pay you through the purchase agreement, 3% on the buyer's behalf, I hope that buyer had their own closing costs because you can't get closing costs now. VA buyers are left out in the dark because VA says sellers must pay commission. Well, now our contracts and our headlines say sellers don't have to pay buyer's agent's commission. So now we need some lending reform from the VA to allow, just like they did with the pest inspections, we need them to allow VA buyers to pay their own commissions to their broker or to add it to their purchase agreement and be paid on their behalf. So lots of moving parts that are not resolved yet. At the end of the day, you just keep doing what you're doing, disclosing your fees and providing your value. And at this point, this is where some agents will probably exit the market, right? We will probably see this market shift make some agents very uncomfortable, and they will likely leave, right? And if you're an agent who's not comfortable talking about commissions, then you and I need to chat so we can talk about how you can present this in a good way. And again, we'll dig into all this at the Monday meeting in detail and answer your questions, and I will, if I don't have the answer, I'll get you the answer. And there are certain things now that we will just be waiting to see how they play out to figure out forms and resolutions for things that are outstanding. But if you need support from me on how to have this conversation or how to present your listing differently or your buyer agent form differently to make sure that you're protecting your commission, I'm happy to have that conversation. But at the end of the day, if you're doing things right and you're a strong agent, a lot of things won't change for you. The way you describe something like the commission split will be the biggest change, but it's at the end of the day, the same thing that it's always been. Sellers decide what they're paying, you decide if you want to take the listing, you educate your sellers. You provide value, you're knowledgeable, you're educated, and if you're doing those things and providing the listing a clear path to closing or providing the buyer a winning strategy to get a house and get it to closing smoothly, then you're still going to get paid and you'll still have value. So right now it's just kind of a rubber hits the road time in our career, where we just have to be a little bit more agile as this transition happens, keep this story straight with people who are confused about it, and then really just provide your value and disclose your fees properly. Everything then should be kind of like normal. If you've got questions, reach out to me individually. Also, yesterday's Monday memo from Wimlar had a good video from Lee Brown in it. I would watch that if I were you. It's 28 minutes, but she kind of echoes the same thing that we feel locally as small brokers, that I feel, that the Wimlar board feels. So give that a watch. The link is in the Monday memo from yesterday. And please try to attend the Monday meeting next week so we can dig into this together. Talk to you guys soon.